Hi, we are Nicolás Jiménez, Nicolás Lozano, and Sara Hernandez, and today we are going to talk about a quadratic function and how to understand it.
A quadratic function is one of the form f times x equals ax at the second power plus b x plus c, where a, b, and c are numbers with not an equal to 0. The graph of a quadratic function is a curve called a parabola. Parabolas may open upward or downward and vary in width or steepness. To determine a parabola, we need to have first the vertex. The vertex is the peak point of the parabola. If the parabola goes upward, the peak is the bottom, but if it goes downwards, the peak is the highest point. Now we're going to continue with the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is the vertical line that divides the parabola into two equal parts. Now, the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the point where the parabola intercepts the y-axis. Normally, it's only one point. The x-intercept is the point where the parabola intercepts the x-axis. In some cases, the parabola can intersect the x-axis in two different points.
Now, after all this explanation, we are going to continue to explain one example. So here we have x to the second power plus 6x plus 7 equal to 0. So the first step that we need to do is to recognize or identify the variables a, b, and c. So a is going to be 1 because x is 1. B is going to be 6 and c is going to be 7. The second step is to identify and understand the formula. The formula is x equal minus b plus minus the square root of b to the second power minus 4 times a times c. All of that divided by 2 times a. So the third step is to replace the variable. So minus b is going to be minus 6 plus minus the square root of 36 because b to the second power is 36 minus 4 times a is 1, so minus 4 times 1. And that result multiplied by 7 because c is 7. Then 2a, 2 times a is 2 because a is equal to 1. So 2 times 1 is going to be 2. So the next step after replace all the variables is going to resolve the operation that are inside of the square root. So 36 is going to be equal minus 4 times 1 times 7. So minus 4 times 1 is going to be minus 4. And minus 4 times 7 is going to be minus 8. So it's going to be, the other equation is going to be minus 6 plus minus the square root of 36 minus 28 divided, all of that divided by 2. So the third step is to solve the operation that were inside of the parentheses that are 36 minus 28, and that is going to be 8. And then the next step is take out the square root of 8, that is 2.82. So the question is going to be minus 6 plus minus 2.82 divided all of that into 2. The next step is divide minus 6 into and 2.82 into. So minus 6 divided into 2 is going to be minus 3, and 2.82 divided into 2 is going to be 1.41. So in this part we need to be very concentrated because in this part minus 3 plus minus 1.41, we need to do those two operations. So minus 3 minus 1.41 is minus 4.41. And minus 3 plus 1.41 is minus 1.59. Finally, we need to rectify our process in GeoGebra. And what we do, we put the equation x to the second power plus 6x plus 7 in the app. So what is going to appear in the graph is a parabola in the part negative and also positive of the graph. And you need to be careful that sometimes you put all the equation exactly as it appears. And here our objective is not find the zero, is find the x. So don't forget to, when you put the function, take out the zero. So what is going to show in the graph are the 2 points that the vertex cross in the x-axis. And those 2 points are minus 4.41 and minus 1.59. And this is how x is found in a quadratic function.
How to know if a function is quadratic? A function is quadratic if it is written in the form f and in parentheses x equal ax2 plus bx plus c. That is, if the greatest exponent is 2, if not, it is not. When a quadratic function is written, it is from ax2 plus bx plus c equals 0, and you want to graph it in an app as geography. Do not forget that the exercise is to find the vectors, not to solve for 0. So when you put the function, you remove the 0. In some cases, to recognize a quadratic function, the formula is not so necessary. Just looking at the graph, you can see how a quadratic function is when the graph has a bound, parabola, and curve. A quadratic function, when on a graph, will never make a straight line or be like several curves, like a snake.
This is all. We hope that all of this explanation has helped you to understand what is a quadratic function and how to find x. See you. Thank you.